What's going on, everyone? So, a lot of talk going into this season of who the starters are going to be. What is the starting five? And during the presser for Rob Pelinka and JJ Redick, JJ was asked once again, who are the starters going to be? Do you know ahead of training camp like you did last offseason? Because in JJ's first offseason, he revealed who the starters were immediately. He already knew who it was. There was no mystery. There wasn't anything. Where starting this season, he said, that there's 7-8 guys that you can make an argument for to start. And I agree with him, right? Like last offseason, the roster that we had, you kind of knew who your starters were. There wasn't really this argument or debate. Like, yeah, it's like, okay, D'Lo may be the sixth man, if Gabe Vincent is healthy or Jared Vanderbilt, whatever, right? Like there was some debate, but it wasn't as like straightforward and as heavy of a debate in discussion as it is right now, because you do have 7-8 guys that you can make an argument for in the starting unit, from Jared Vanderbilt to Marcus Smart to Rui Hachimura to Jake LaRavia to so on and so forth, right? So to me, I do think it is in JJ Redick's best interest, but I also think JJ's right? Like, you don't want to, this roster, there are 7 or 8 guys, so you don't want to say like, yeah, I'm going to go with the same 5 as last year, and Marcus Smart is clearly the better option, or Jared Vanderbilt, or whomever, right? Like, you want to make sure that you're doing your due diligence, properly assessing that. Plus, you have several guys that I'm sure want to start, right? In Marcus Smart, Jake LaRavia, Rui Hachimura, right? These kind of guys that can make the argument. There are a lot of different configurations, and I mean, you could even base it on, opponents, the starting unit and the end of game unit could be very different, right? Just because you're a starter doesn't mean you're going to finish the game, right? So it just depends on certain matchups, certain like who's hot that night, right? JJ should be open-minded in how he processes and goes about, kind of his rotation, his lineups, and who starts and who closes and so on and so forth, right? And JJ even said that himself to an extent during the presser. He talked about how, it's not how I want to play, it's what is the best way to play for this team. And he's right. JJ might want to play a certain way. JJ might want a certain rotation. He might want a certain starting unit, so on and so forth. But what is best for the team? And that's the key. But here's my thing. It's easy to say that. It's another thing to actually do it, which I think a good indicator is JJ Redick got the 2-year extension, right? JJ Redick got an extension. And, with that extension, people were kind of questioning like, why give him, even in the pressure, they were like, why'd you give him an extension if he still has several years still on his deal? And Rob Pelinka said, we have the confidence in him. We believe in him. We wanted to kind of set the tone, set the example. That is great, because now it gives JJ the confidence and security. The organization has my back. So if JJ has to make that tough call, he needs to know the organization's got his back. Obviously, Luka Doncic, LeBron James, you're not sitting them. Like, the only guys that I think for certain are your starters are Luka, LeBron, and DeAndre Ayton, because you don't have another option other than DeAndre Ayton. And DeAndre Ayton's better than Jackson Hayes. So, it's not like you have, a Nick Claxton on the team where it's like, oh, maybe Nick Claxton could be. Like, no, it's DeAndre Ayton, Luka Doncic, LeBron James. Those are the only for sure guys. Austin Reeves, I think, to best maximize and utilize him, should come off the bench. Same thing with Rui Hachimura. Talked about this before, but I'll reiterate here because we're talking about lineups. My ideal starting lineup, based on the way the roster is currently constructed, is Luka Doncic, Marcus Smart, and then either Jared Vanderbilt or Jake LaRavia, depending on how Jake LaRavia shoots and actually defends, right? Last year, he was a B+ rated defender, but most likely Jared Vanderbilt, unless Jake LaRavia really, like I said, really shows some signs offensively and defensively. LeBron James and DeAndre Ayton. Now, the reason I like the idea of Marcus Smart and Jared Vanderbilt as your starters, because again, your starters don't have to necessarily be who you close with. If Austin Reeves is cooking and having a great shooting night, then you probably want to close with him, right? So then maybe you are taking out Marcus Smart, or you are taking out Jared Vanderbilt, or whomever, right? But again, that adaptation. But I want the defense, athleticism, and versatility that Marcus Smart and Jared Vanderbilt would bring you, particularly in the starting unit, because Luka Doncic likes to go off early. how many times have you seen between, the Lakers stint and with the, the Dallas Mavericks? I mean, half of his field goal attempts will come sometimes in the first quarter. He's trying to go for 20, 30 points in the first. Okay, perfect. If he's going to be aggressive early on and he's going to take most of the shots early on, you don't need the floor spacing and all that. You need the defense. So when Luka is killing and torching and he's dropping 20, 25, 30 in the first quarter, you can start to create that separation. We saw it last year, right? Luka would go off for 20 in the first, and it'd be like a 3-point game or a 5-point game or something like that, right? Because you didn't have the defense to really stretch that gap. And then the other side of things, you can always inject offense. It's hard to inject defense because it could be too late, right? So if you go with the defensive side of things and the offense isn't working, the defense hopefully is good enough to keep it close or close the gap or maybe even like keep you on par to where then you can inject the offense and, maybe take out, hey, Luka's just struggling. Let's get Luka out or LeBron out or whomever. Let's see what Reeves can do right now. Let's see what these guys, right? It's easier to inject the offense because if you just lean into the offense and your offense isn't cooking right out the gate, and now you end up, now they start to, you don't have the defense to keep the gap close, and they start stretching that gap, you could find yourself in trouble. So these are all things that is why I like that starting unit. But again, just because I like that unit doesn't necessarily mean that will be the best unit, right? That's what training camp and preseason for and all those things. It might be, right? That might be the best version of the team, the best everything for this team, but it might be Jake LaRavia. It might be Austin Reeves and Jake LaRavia. Like, what is your best 5-man group? What is your best 5-man unit? What is the unit that's going to push you ahead? Talked about, keep an eye out on preseason when he talks about different lineups and all these things. Like, he's like, hey, keep an eye out on preseason, right? Like, you want the sample set. You want to see. You get kind of the feel in training camp, and you're trying different looks, and you're trying different guys and whatnot. But again, like, what if it's Maxi Kleber, right? He's just like really good as like the help defender, and he's stretching. You don't know. It might be a little bit too extreme, but you get the point, right? Like, we don't know what is the best balance for the starting and bench unit. That's the key to me, right? Like, and I understand with Austin Reeves, and this is why it might get difficult and you need the support of your front office. If the best version of this team is Austin Reeves and Rui Hachimura coming off the bench, and Austin Reeves is looking around going like, hey, this is my contract year. This season is so vital, crucial, and important for me. I don't like the idea of coming off the bench. I don't want to come off the bench. Is JJ going to be able to make that call? And if Austin Reeves isn't a fan of that, does JJ Redick have the support of the front office? Have the support of Jeannie, Rob, and Mark to go, hey, it's up to the coach. Because Reeves' agent, Austin Reeves. They're going to be, hey, come on, man, this isn't what I signed up. This isn't what I want, man. I'm trying to get 35, 40 million, whatever. Right? Like, and that's where if you're JJ, is it about the team or is it about you? If it's about you and you get in the bag, I don't blame you. I don't knock you. But then maybe you should be talking to the front office about getting traded rather than, the bag for the team, right? If you want the bag, no one's going to blame you for wanting the bag, right? Go get your bag. But you better hope that you can get the bag here off the bench. You know what's a great way to do that? You torch and go win 6th man of the year. And guess what? The Lakers probably still pay you. Right? Like, especially right now. To me, like, those are going to be the tough decisions that are very likely going to present themselves. It might be as simple as, like, our best 5-man unit is, like, Luka, Reeves, Marcus Smart, LeBron James, and DeAndre Ayton. But I really do think we're going to have stretch. We're going to have points. We're going to have moments where, you know what, we need better balance. We need more defense in the starting unit. We need more athleticism in the starting unit. Let's get Jared Vanderbilt in the starting unit. Right. And the way I look at it is like this, right? If you have, obviously I explained the Luka side of it, but also if you go, let's say, it'd actually be better with Jake LaRavia, but let's say Luka Doncic, Marcus Smart, Jared Vanderbilt, right? LeBron James and DeAndre Ayton. Now your bench group is Austin Reeves, Gabe Vincent, Jake LaRavia with Rui Hachimura and Jackson Hayes. That's a much better balanced starting unit. Now you have two wings that can both catch and shoot, knock down the three ball with efficiency. Rui Hachimura gets to slot into his natural forward position and be the primary backup for LeBron James and can still play the three at times. Jake Aravia now gets to be the primary backup three. And now Austin Reeves is actually in a, you could maybe argue, better offensive balanced unit for his skill set to thrive, right? Because Luka Doncic is just otherworldly, but the idea is like he's going to get going early. So Jared Vanderbilt and Marcus Smart, you don't get the shooting from them that you would from Rui Hachimura and Jake LaRavia. So now Austin Reeves can have the ball in his hands. Gabe Vincent as your point of attack defensive player slotted alongside him. Austin Reeves can play playmaker, and you have those 2 6'8" wings out on the perimeter that can catch and shoot and knock down with efficiency. So Austin Reeves can cook and do his thing. Boom, he's kicking to those guys. And then you have Jackson Hayes that can be the lob threat and the connection that him and Hayes have built up over the years. And then build that connection with Ayton and then play off of LeBron and play off of Luka and so on and so forth. Right? Austin Reeves, just because he comes off the bench doesn't mean he's not going to get 30 minutes a night. He's still probably going to play a ton. But again, it's about what's the best balance and unit for this team, in my opinion. And I think it's going to be the offensive or the defensive injection, right? But we'll see. Obviously, as we get into training camp, I'm sure we'll get more information, more details in that regard. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. I pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out. So we enjoy these types of videos. I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.